I don't really know why this is being brought up again, guys, but several years after some of the biggest Warzone drama, which we did cover 3+ years ago over at Esports Talk, it's been brought up again by one of those people involved, that being Huskerrs' at the time girlfriend, now fiance, known as Ali, otherwise at the time known as P90 Princess. So I wanted to give you guys the background as to why we covered this story back in 2021. I believe it was February of 2021, when it was two of the biggest Warzone personalities at that time, Nickmercs and Huskerrs. Huskerrs by far and away one of your best pros of all time, and then when it comes to Nickmercs, speaks for itself. One of the most viewed Warzone players certainly at that time, especially when he was involved in drama like this.
Somebody said, so because of all this, people have been like giving me clips and shit. Wrap your head around this for just a second. I'm doing a gym stream and I got like 25,000 viewers, and somebody sent me a clip of him, and he clicks on my stream and he sees me doing this gym stream. This is a while ago. And he's like, I don't understand like why 25,000 people want to watch a man lift weights. I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You know, like, just go to the gym. I don't know if I can get it. And at the time, he's sitting there with his little 5K, 8K viewers, you know. Listen, guys, listen. There's a reality in all this. Like, we got to wake up. And the wake up is, the reality is that people are, jealousy leaks out in certain ways. You know what I mean? He thinks because he's this outstanding VR player that he deserves all these viewers. But there's more to Twitch and there's more to entertainment than just being good at a video game. We talk about that a lot. Every time we give advice on how to be a streamer and stuff, I mean, we never just say only skill, you know? But imagine being that much of a loser.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, this has all started as Warzone duo drama. I believe it was some 2v2 drama between Nickmercs and Huskerrs. And it really depends going back at it. Huskerrs might have been in the right. Regardless, it was the trash talk that ensued that had everyone invested in what Huskerrs had to say about Nick, and Nick had to say about Huskerrs, vice versa. Because it was after that initial drama where Nickmercs would call Huskerrs a fruitcake or a rat, or say he just didn't like the guy. And then vice versa, we had Huskerrs call him a crap Warzone competitor. He did not use the word crap, and he also called him a biatch, among other things. And he didn't say the word biatch. So it was a heavy back and forth of trash talk.
What the heck, dude?
Nickmercs.
Oh my god, it's actually f***ing them, I think.
Is that why Superstore's a f***ing shit show?
Does he have
This
Deddy
makes
on?
total sense.
He did have Deddy on. F***ing pussy, dude.
It is an absolute shit show right now.
Well, I got a quarter cup of lube just slosh around in my throat. The hell was that? Dr. Lupo? Oh, hell nah. Like, fried. Hey, should I put him on this list in case he's probably been hearing all the shit that I'm talking about? Maybe we'll throw him there. Where's Huskerrs at? He ain't. But the boys didn't put him on the list. Damn, he didn't make the cut, man. That's crazy. Maybe he's just not good enough to even be considered, you know?
Zamza, Vapular.
Wait, he put Nickmercs in the B?
Swag, but I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's blatantly misplaced. Nickmercs is a C. Are you f***ing kidding me, dude? You're telling me Nickmercs is better than Joey? Better than Isaac?
Yeah.
Dude, fucking Maven is better than Nickmercs, dude.
Oh my god. He doesn't play that many.
Nickmercs is literally dog shit at Warzone, bro. How the f is this guy in a
I
B?
feel like he's. Hey man, I don't know. I feel like he's literally probably the best B player on here.
This dude is like 38 years old and has the reaction time of a f***ing walrus.
I'm gonna go like that for now.
Like, how are you in a B?
Colors.
Guys, if I have beef with Huskerrs, it's like fighting with a fucking kindergartner or something, bro. He's like 5'7", you know, $180, a high school, you know, geometry teacher. I mean, what are we talking about, bro? You guys gonna make me bully this guy right now? Come on. He said, I'll say it to his face. Tell him to get in Discord. He's a great Warzone player. Yada, yada, yada. But I think he's f***ing weird. I think he's a dweeb. Him and I would have never gotten along back in the days, man. We sure as shit barely get along now. I mean, he's just a f***ing cornball. And that's just me being honest. You guys know me. You know who I get along with, man. That guy is not fucking it. That's the captain of the chess team right there. And listen, if you're a chess guy, great. But me, that's just not who I'm vibing with. So he's a fucking fruitcake. And this whole talking like, yo, I'll say it to his face shit, him and everybody else should just be a little bit careful about that, because I've pressed some people before that you guys all know on some I'll say it to your face shit.
It was during this where they would go back and forth for weeks, where unfortunately Huskerrs' partner at the time, and still, that being Ali or P90 Princess, was unfortunately brought into this. And I think everyone can admit that nobody wanted this, but she did face a lot of criticism and a lot of harassment, not just from the Nick fans and the Warzone fans, but a lot of people involved. So much so that eventually Nick, if you guys remember, even on stream several times had to apologize and say that was not like the goal of this. To involve her was just too far. And you have to remember back in the day, and even still for the Call of Duty scene, yeah, when you involve a partner, it got really ugly and certainly went too far. Everyone can admit that.
Here's the thing. You guys cannot go and harass people. You can't. Okay, you can't. You can't do it. I mean, you can't, and especially, you cannot go, especially, you cannot go and harass like other people that aren't even a part of what you might be upset about. Now, to get real direct, Huskerrs put out a picture or some shit, okay, of him, and I don't know who she is to him. It appears to be his girl. I don't know, you know. I don't know who she is. I don't want to say it's his girlfriend because I just don't know. Either way, you know, this woman has not done a thing to us. I mean, she's nothing. I mean, she's just living, man. Takes a picture with the guy, and there were a lot of really shitty comments about her on that picture. So just let me just hammer this part out quickly because I don't want to stay here too long. That is not okay. It's not okay. Now, you know that. I mean, I don't even really need to say that. You should know that.
But why I'm bringing all of this up, in case you guys could not understand of why we covered this at the time, this was gaming news. That is why we talked about it. When you have one of the biggest Warzone and Call of Duty streamers in Nickmercs beefing with, at the time, and still one of the best Warzone pros of all time, and literally saying the craziest trash talk that we've seen probably ever since, beef-wise. Yeah, we talked about it, guys. We did not mean to involve third parties. That is not how it meant to be, nor did I ever encourage that behavior whatsoever. So for this to be brought up yet again, year after year, I also have not talked about P90 Princess since 2 years ago, where she brought this back up yet again, speaking about the harassment and toxicity of Nickmercs and his community, where just over 2 years ago, she brought all this back up. You know, it tends to go away and then get brought back up, and then it goes away and gets brought back up. And I just don't think it does any side any good. But here's what Ali had to say. As she tweeted, "It's been a year of harassment from the MFAM. I finally reached out to Nick to ask for peace, and I get blocked. A year of harassment from one of the biggest streamers communities, and no one stands up about it. If you preach peace and love, then live it." And showcasing a message where she was extremely complimentary of Nick and seemingly trying to find maybe some even ground, saying, "Hey, it's almost been a year and I'm still getting nonstop hate from the MFAM people. I know that's not your core community, but man, I didn't do anything to get so much hate. I am just a streamer trying to make ends meet. Ever since you called us rats, things got even worse for me, and the hate people feel towards Jordan and I expanded." And then continued to give a few compliments and explain the prior situation, and even showcase a prime example of someone being extremely rude to her, which obviously no one's approving of. And then very lastly, showcasing a blocking by Nickmercs. And I think this post rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, because a lot of people are going to fall on two different sides. And I think it brings up a great debate of streamers having to, take some sort of responsibility for their audience. But that part was also kind of left out of the original tweet, that being that Nick has said several times, and one that I've mentioned in my past, not encouraging this behavior from his audience. It's an unfortunate turnoff and a thing that does happen with a lot of these big streamer communities, where you can't control every one of them, especially the crazy fans out there whom, Nick and the MFAM probably won't want to own those kind of people who do these kind of things. And so, yeah, when you bring back up the biggest news in Warzone, beefing between two of the biggest guys in it, it's something that a gaming news channel is going to cover and going to talk about. It's not something I always enjoy talking about, nor do I ever encourage people to go harass and be toxic. But it seems like a recurring theme here where P90 Princess, out of nowhere, will bring these events back up. It's not me. Like, I'm not going out there and tweeting about this and asking for her response on these things, but I will talk about it if you do so. And then this got re-brought back up again in 2023, where this was around the Nickmercs Save or Protect the Children, where he started going viral last June for talking about that. I'm sure you guys know it made dang near national news, eventually had him kicked out of Call of Duty, and she brought up Nickmercs in that instance all over again. And most recently, yet again, in 2024, for the 4th or 5th time, she brought this back up in a post that I'm reacting to now for all of you because I was also named in it. Where she stated, "Now is a great time to explain why I rebranded from P90 Princess to EverythingAli. 3 years ago, I called out Nick for his hate, and so many of you stood up for him. There were articles written by Dexerto, Jake Lucky loved posting about it, and the MFAM targeted me. 3 years ago, your fiance Huskerrs, like I've already explained, got some Warzone drama and beef with, again, one of the other biggest Warzone streamers, Nickmercs. And so I covered it as gaming news. Unfortunately, you did get drug into that, as people did note. Nickmercs did apologize, and no party involved ever encouraged that toxicity. I worked so hard for 7 years as P90 Princess. It was a brand I loved so dearly, but I let it all go because of everything I went through. The bullying, hate, and my name being tarnished because of one guy in his community was not worth the 7 years of work." And again, I'm not saying what Nick's community does is great, especially when he has a target against someone. He has a very strong and loyal fan base. Trust me, I know that. If you've been watching what I've been posting about Nick for the past year or so now, the dude does not like me either. That's the irony in all of this. But, you know, if it got so hard, you brought him back up year after year. If you wanted that hate to go away, stop mentioning the dude. Like, it can be a very toxic fan base to be involved with. And typically when that happens and people want to avoid that, they avoid talking about that toxic person. If you search P90 Princess, you see images of Nick, articles, and YouTube stories that Jake Lucky loved to cover, which ultimately hurt me worse. The comments that he never monitored were horrible and so demeaning. Again, I have no ill will towards Ali. I got no hate in my heart at all. I really do not care. When it comes to the monitoring of comment sections, check my most recent videos on Dr. Disrespect and Nickmercs. There are tons of hate-filled comments, not just about the topic in general, but also towards me. I will not monitor my comment section. I will not choose what people can and cannot post in the replies, whether it's nice or mean about me or the topic at hand. I never have, especially back in the day at Esports Talk. We were uploading 3 to 4 videos a day. I did not have time to go through the thousands of comments. And I'm sorry, that's just how it is. I'm not going to choose how someone can or cannot reply to a video in the subject at hand. I never really have and never will. Rebranding has been hard. Some people don't know where I went, therefore I lost viewers and subs. Almost every stream for a year, I have people in my chat asking what happened to P90 Princess. It's been an uphill climb ever since. I'm still here, I just don't want my legacy ruined by this transphobic brain rot community. The amount of people that messaged me 3 years ago saying how proud they were that I spoke out couldn't say that publicly because they were too scared of their own reputation. I'd rather tarnish my hard work and name by being truthful and standing up against the hate than be afraid. Anyways, that's the main reason I rebranded. It sucks. I'm sad I had to come to that, and I wish I had more support from peers back then, but maybe now you understand what I went through all those years ago. Be a good human, that is all. And I'm totally right there with you on be a good human. I am just simply trying to paint the picture of where I am coming from when I covered the news. The origin story of all of this did not involve you. It involved your fiance Huskerrs, which I'll say for the 5th time, was the biggest Warzone beef we saw during that year. A great competitor, one of the top earners of all time, beefing with the biggest Warzone streamer. That was the focal point. If this happens in any other esport, any other sport or game, people talk about it. Unfortunately, you became this third-party target for an audience that I never encouraged, and we've also talked in DMs about this. And yes, I have grown over the past few years, but every time I have mentioned you in a story, it's because you brought this story back up, which, by the way, includes not talking about this for over 2 years. And the origin of all of this was over 3 years ago. The only times I've mentioned Nickmercs since has been over all of his transphobic comments. The irony being, the dude does not like me either. If you read my comments and you saw my DMs, I very much know where you are coming from. And if I wanted to avoid that, I would stop talking about the guy altogether. I got no ill will. I got no hate. To be honest with you guys, we just had police officers and SWAT all up in our home for the past several hours. So I just want to get my point across. This is, to me, not a big deal. I covered a big Warzone drama. I wish you never got involved and got thrown in there. And again, I apologize for that, but so too did Nick. And you can only lead your audience so much to not do these kind of things. Some people are just crazy loyal and they'll do and say whatever. That's welcome to the internet. And so I do feel bad about this, but at the end of the day, like, I was covering Warzone news. I would do it again. And so I hope everyone can move on from this. Let's all be good people, or at least we can try to be, right? And so until next time, I hope you guys all enjoy. Hope you all understand. If not, that's A-okay. I'll see you guys back here sometime soon. Take care.